Okay, this is a quick video factoring quadratics in the form of the standard form ax squared plus bx plus c. And in this case, we have all those quadratics, and we'll notice that a, in this case, for the purposes in the video, a is 1. And that's super important. And so all of these, as you see example 1, 2, and 3 there, have a leading coefficient, or the coefficient that is in front of the x squared is 1. So, if you have quadratics that are in this form, and you need to factor them, that is, reverse FOIL, this is the method that we will do so in class. So, first of all, we get this little template here, and we say to ourselves, what two numbers multiply to 6, okay, we get that right there, and add to 5, okay? And so, I'm going to get a different color here, and add to 5. And so, therefore, we play around with two numbers. It's kind of like a little mini game. And once you find them, you say, okay, let's test this. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 plus 3 is 5. And therefore, I can factor. I go put the x's out in front, like this, kind of like set this up. And then I put these numbers that I just solved out for right here. Okay, and so that's going to give me x plus 2 and then x plus 3. Now, remember, the important part is that this is actually this guy factored out. And if you were to FOIL this out, and you don't have to do this every time, but I'm just showing you while what we did works, is that we would get x times x is x squared, 3 times x is 3x, 2 times x is, oops, forgot my x here, 2x, and 2 times 3 is 5. And once I collect those like terms, I would get what I started off with. Now, you don't have to multiply them all together every time, but 2 times 3 is not 5, it's 6. And so you can see that it's going to be the same thing that I started off with. Okay? So let's do the second one together, and then see where this takes us. So in this case, I say to myself, what two numbers multiply to 10 and add to a negative 7? Oops, I should have an x in here too, so sorry about this. We had that x in there. And so, that said, I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, well, let's try out some numbers. And we have a negative in here, so that means is that if we think about it, if this is negative and they're adding to 7, and this is positive, the numbers both have to be negative, because a negative times a negative would be a positive number, and a negative plus a negative would give you a negative number. So I'm going to guess that the two numbers are going to be a negative 5 and a negative 2. So let's check. Negative 5 times negative 2 is 10, and negative 5 plus a negative 2 is a negative 7. That's good. So I set up my answer below, and I put the x's there, and I put it right there as well, and then I drop these guys right in, and it's going to be x minus 5, x minus 2. And if I FOIL that out, I'll get back what I started with. So those are the exact same thing. The last example is when you have a combination of positive and negative numbers. So I would say what two numbers multiply to a negative 30 and add to a negative 13. So those numbers, we know that since we're multiplying and it's going to be a negative number, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. And it looks like since I'm adding a positive and negative number for the negative 13, the larger number has to be negative. So I'm going to guess a negative 15 and a positive 2. Okay? So I would say a negative 15 times a positive 2 is a negative 30. Negative 15 plus 2 is a negative 13. So we know that that works. And that's going to give me, setting this back up, the x is out in front here, And then I'm going to drop these guys right in here, like that. And I end up with x minus 15 and x plus 2. So, there we go. And that is, once more, the same as that guy. So that's how we're going to be factoring when we have a leading coefficient of 1, and there'll be some practice in class and time to ask and answer questions about the skill set in which you are to download and plots math. So that's how you do those. Thank you for watching.